Hello, welcome to the Reality Vomit Podcast, an extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, I'm your host, Mac Taylor, and today we are talking more Big Brother Canada 9, episode 24. Got to double check those notes, make sure I get that shit right. Again, we're still getting used to doing this video thing, but I will be looking up and down from the notes. So, I'm not going to always be maintaining that eye contact on the camera. Hope that doesn't bother anybody. So, without further ado, we had that crazy double eviction scenario last time. Now we had someone coming back into the game. We had a new HOH. Let's go ahead. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about that. Also, no spoiler talk because there's no feeds until Monday night. And I haven't had time to get to what happened there yet. So that being said, let's dive right into this. Let's get it done. So Beth had a wild ride there in that double eviction. She lost Jed, who she wanted Jed gone, but she wanted to be the one to take the shot at Jed. So it was this weird thing with her. So she was sad that she lost Jed, and then had this thing with Tara, but also that she was being targeted there, or she was worried about. So it was either her or Tara. So she lost her ally, almost went home herself. She is excited to have survived, but is very whew, man, that was tough. Ty felt really good about it though, because everything really worked out very well for him. He made this move against Jed. A little bit of unnecessary work on his part, like just keeping the facade up and trying to wedge that knife a little more. But as far as making the move to take Jed out, it made perfect sense for Ty. Ty really needed to make a move to be able to win this game. And now I could say Ty's in the running. He could potentially win. And then he took Tara out. And while he, knowing what we know now, he probably should have taken Jed out as far as, knowing that the fake double was happening. He didn't know that. And Tara was probably the better decision because they don't know. Jury does respect Beth, but I'm still very questionable on whether or not she'd win a vote. And Bray didn't want to boot Tara. He wanted to boot Beth, but Ty fought him on it. And for some reason, even though Ty wasn't voting, they respected Ty's HOH. Like, I know Bray wants to have a final two with Ty, but you and Keith are the only ones voting, and Keith wanted to keep Tara too. So it's all right, that we had the votes, and we'll just do it. You know what I mean? What's Ty gonna do? He can't play HOH next week. So I don't know. If you wanted Beth out, you should have taken a shot at Beth, but nevertheless, they took a shot at Tara. And Tara was pissed at Keith ultimately and how the week played out, because Keith gets to take credit for the Jed move because it was ultimately his idea on how they went about it. And then Keith did not fight for her enough to stay. And she doesn't know that he did want Beth to go home. All she knows is that he voted her out. So Keith really does not benefit from this whole buyback situation at all either. And Beth is also pissed at Keith because he got to take credit for the Jed move. It's like, okay, Beth, well, if you hadn't have played your game so sloppily, you'd be able to take credit for a lot of moves and wouldn't even need the Jed move. It's very frustrating with Beth sometimes. It takes a lot for me to watch Beth do her stuff, right? It's very draining on me. It's only becoming worse as the season goes on. So really for my health, I hope that Beth goes home very soon. And when she was evicted and went to that room with Jed, Tara did disclose a lot of information about what happened, so that no matter who went back into the game between the two of them, they would have room to maneuver. And if he came in, he would know everything that happened. Basically, don't trust anybody, which you shouldn't have to tell someone who's been evicted unanimously and blindsided by his own alliance not to trust those people. You shouldn't have to. However, with this particular cast we've had this season, it was probably for the best she did that, because these guys are not good at just doing common sense maneuvers. Everything has to be overly complicated, and actually they do things that won't benefit their game and then stumble in such a way that it would. So again, you wouldn't think you would have to say anything about it, but also this is a guy that used the veto on someone else when he was such a big target in the first place. So, it is what it is. So Tara wants whoever goes back in to go after Keith and Ty. Keith and Ty are probably the front runners to win the game at this point. Although Beth does have a lot of favor in the jury, I think Kiefer will win. Almost every person who's went to the jury, the 3 out of the 3 of them that we know for sure at the moment, have said they would vote for Kiefer in the end. There are other people they would, and they said that Ty needs to do a lot of work. Ty's starting to do work, but if Keith is in the end, I think with anybody, he'll win, which is crazy because I don't think he's played such an incredible game that he says he has. But with the cast that he's been paired with, yes, he is probably able to beat anybody in the end at this point, which I'm okay with because I picked him. So it'll be the first time in a while a person I picked on a reality TV show would win. But at the exact same accord, it's like at times I root for Kiefer, and at times I don't really want Kiefer to be rewarded for some of the things he does. He's one of the better players out of the group, but a lot of the times it's his over cockiness that really gets to me. So again, I'd be totally happy if he won. Again, I picked him from the start, as my podcast will show. And that's good for me, especially because I picked him and LT went home very fast. So it was nice that I'm still here, still fighting in these streets. But nevertheless, Kiefer has not exactly been the most flawless player. She even talks about the term of the trapdoor plan that was to get Jed out, and Jed's, we didn't really get a lot of his reactions to it. He just seemed very yes, we must win. He didn't really have a whole lot of reaction to it. And then meanwhile, while they're having this conversation, because they have noise canceling headphones on, so they can't hear the loud noise that is probably coming from downstairs, which is the final 4 celebrating and kind of shit talking Tara at the same time, not knowing that one of these people is about to come back in the game. So when it is revealed, ultimately, though, they all pretty much assume Jed's coming back. I don't think anybody's really thinking Tara's coming back, myself included. I want Tara to come back, but I did not think it was going to happen. And then they also, Ty and Keith were we should have taken out Beth, because at least we would have got one of them out. Now Jed's going to come back and go right back to Beth, and we're fucked. Which is, that's a big concern. Even though Beth did 100% contribute to this plan, she would get to probably pair up with Jed. Even though Tara did say, hey, Beth was a part of it too. Don't trust Beth. He used the veto on her when he was on the block. He's going to go back to her. So it's called a heads will roll competition. Basically, you got this little ramp thing, and you got these, they look like softballs, and you got to roll them up a ramp and land them on, where the ramp goes up flat. You have to land them all 3 there without, going over or knocking them off or whatever. That's actually really difficult, but I like this because anyone can win this kind of comp. This season, we haven't really had comps for the younger, strong guys, which I think is great. We've seen more diversity in not only the casting, but the comps and the people that have been HOH. I've really enjoyed that this season. And I hope that can continue in the future, because it's been a great result because of it. Whereas in a standard BB season, guys like Ty and Jed would run it in the competition department. So it goes pretty back and forth. At one point, Jed has 2, but knocks one of his off. Same thing with Tara. But Tara ends up pulling out the win here. And I was like, oh shit, Tara came back. This is the best case scenario for entertainment purposes. as we head into the end game of this season. And they're all shocked that she comes in because, again, they assume it's going to be Jed. And she's like, I took out Jed twice, which the first time, again, Kiefer can take most of the credit for because he had the plan work out the way it did. However, the second time is completely and utterly Tara. No one can take that from her because it was only those two competing. So Tara, you know, that was her third comp win this season. You know, she's showing up. She's showing up and glowing up. And Beth is pissed because when she heard someone was coming back, she's like, oh, it's going to be Jed. And then me and Jed are going to be back together. And that was not the case because Tara comes back and Tara's not a Beth fan. So this, while she probably would target Ty and Keith first, she's scorned by Beth. And so she lashes out at Ty, like, over this whole situation for like no reason. Because Ty kept saying, like, I didn't never expected Tara, you know, just because you look at Jed and he's a bigger guy. She's like, I wish he'd stop saying that. It's such a stupid thing. He's like, I'm just saying, like, aesthetically, she's really tiny, he's really big. And, you know, like, if you had to, like, you know, just off the top of your head, think, like, you wouldn't expect Tara to do it. Even Tara said it was like a David versus Goliath situation, which she actually says that a lot, that this is a David versus Goliath situation. I don't really think it was that big of a gap, but, you know, Tara aesthetically, like Ty is saying, Tara is really small. Jed is this big guy. It aesthetically looks off. But Beth is pissed and she's just looking at a reason to yell at somebody. Tara also lies about how they were kept. She says they were kept apart from each other, so that she doesn't want them to know that she spilled the beans to Jed. Also, she's trying to play nice and them not know that but even Keith's like, she's like, I'm not pissed. And Keith's like, you're pissed. Like, it's okay to say it. Like, we get it. You were evicted. I would be pissed too. Like, it's okay, Tara. But she's trying her damnedest. And Tara, who normally does not pull any punches, is trying to save some face here because she knows even though she's won her way back into the game, it's an uphill battle from here. Because typically when someone wins a comeback competition, they are still the target because you were supposed to be gone already. Then Beth, they all agree to take a shot at Beth because they feel that it's Beth's time. Even though Tara did, you know, win this comp and come back in, like, yeah, maybe we should just take a shot at Beth. And Beth spends the rest of the night crying pretty much. And it gets very annoying. She's like, I just can't be fake. I'm not going to be fake. These people, I'm just not fake. And I'm like, wait, like, okay. Like, is this how you're going to spend the rest of the time? Like, something, the first time in the whole season, something did not go your way. You're just going to cry for like a day and be super pissy. Like, well, I'm just not going to be fake. It's like, well, what would her season have looked like had something not gone her way early? Would she have just completely imploded by now? Like, it's so stupid that you just take your ball and go home when you're not even on the block or anything yet. HOH hasn't even been played out. Yeah, Jed went home. That wasn't ideal. Tara came back. That also probably was not ideal. But, you know, we got to keep rolling. The game's not over. So Ty comes in to talk to her, and she's like, well, why'd you do the things that you did? And he's like, listen, you told me I was a pawn. Like, you wanted me to volunteer to go up. That clearly showed me where I fell on your spectrum. I took the shot I needed to take. That's how it is, Beth. I love how snarky Ty gets when talking to Beth now. He's just so done trying to talk in circles with her that he's just like, yeah, this is how it is, Beth. And Keith's trying to kind of hype Tara up because he's trying to get in with her again. Like, he's like, I still want to work with you. She's like, I still want to work with you too, which really, she's got to work with somebody. Especially if Ty and Bray are going to hook up and Beth's potentially going to be targeted, then Tara and Kiefer kind of need each other at the moment, right? So it just kind of makes sense. Tara has to have an end game with somebody, even though she would prefer if everybody went home. She's got to work with somebody. Ty also really hoping that Bray wins HOH, because Ty is the only person who has not touched the block this season. And the only guarantee he has to not touch the block is if Braden wins HOH. But Braden has not won an HOH yet. He just won that POV, was his first comp win. So, the odds aren't technically in the favor there. But again, these kind of competitions, anyone can win. So we get All In to win HOH, which, like, they spin a wheel, which looks like the Wheel of Fortune wheel, for trivia questions. And you start out with 10 chips, and you can bet up to 5 per round. And at the end of 7 rounds, those with the most chips will win. And Keith does not have a good day with this. But everybody else seems to be doing rather well. And we end up with a tie here between Bray and Beth. And Bray really does seem to know his days. It's been very impressive to see him do that. A lot of them seem to, at least everyone's trying to study. There's no one who's really just like really shitty at the days comps. So, sometimes in like BBUS, you'll see like one person who's like the broy guy who just didn't watch the show and never studied the days and just has fucking no clue how to do it. But everyone here seemed to have some sort of grasp. But Kiefer really floundered this one. So we get a tie between Bray and Beth. And because they somehow both ended up with 28 chips. That is really odd to have a tie. So the tiebreaker is, what were the total amount of stacked apples in the apple cart veto from week 2? And Bray gets right on the money with 122 apples. Got it dead on. I was like, holy shit. Like, that's some damn good memorization you've went through there, Bray. So Bray gets his first HOH. And if what they were talking about this episode can be, taken as gospel, Beth will go up and probably Tara will go up, because it just makes sense. Tara just went home. It's easy to throw her up. Because Ty's Bray's not going to put Ty up, and he's probably not going to put Kiefer up, because they've all been kind of that 3 has been working pretty tight ever since Jed was on his way out the door. So I was very excited to see that too. I was very happy for Bray to get his first HOH. Also, again, things that keep shaking up. Not one group, like the Sunsetters have started to, have pretty much blown up now, and everything's kind of resetting. This is probably one of the more interesting end games we've had in a while, Big Brother, because I've seen a lot of people online say like, oh, well, the momentum's completely gone. And yeah, that twist almost fucked us. That twist really could have fucked us. But we got the best result we could have out of it. And I've just really enjoyed it. Yes, there's not been like really great strategy. But because of that, we haven't seen anybody really just run the gambit. It's been a lot of like, the Sunsetters were the closest thing to running the gambit, but even then they stumbled their way through most of the season. It's been interesting to watch. It's been entertaining. It's not been the most strategic. It's not been the craziest move. Things could have been a lot worse this season. Like Big Brother All-Stars from the BB22, as much as it was great to see players back, Cody ran the table. Like from about jury, we knew Cody was probably going to win the game if no one took him out. So it's nice to see, like, I still don't, there are going to be 4 people left soon. And any of them could win the game. That's fucking nuts. That hardly ever happens. Even in like less running of the gambit seasons of Big Brother, still there's usually like 2 people out of the final 4 you think could probably win, or there's like one definite person who's gonna win, and if there's like a backup. But no, all 4 of them could win at this point. That's fucking nuts, guys. We should really be appreciating that. And just the fact that with COVID and shit, we still haven't had a Survivor season. The challenge has, been very back and forth on getting stuff done. We have Challenge All-Stars right now, but it's hard to film during COVID still. And the fact that we not only have Big Brother Canada back, but it's been such a different game than what we've been used to. We should be very appreciative of that. And I am definitely very appreciative of that. Even though some of these people have damn near given me an aneurysm with some of the moves they've made, I'm happy to watch it. So that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. And until next time, stay safe. Most importantly, stay nerdy.